Hello and welcome. I am Crystal Moore, and with me, this is Ariel Locklear, and we are sisters. We are both nurse practitioners and are natives of Robeson County and have practiced solely here in Robeson County. I want to begin by introducing my sister to you. Ariel graduated nursing school from Sand Hills Community College in 2003. She obtained her Bachelor of Science degree from UNC Wilmington in 2013, and she later completed her Master's in Science in Nursing in 2016. She is board certified as a family nurse practitioner, and her interests are in cardiology, urgent care, and family medicine. She is employed with UNC Southeastern Health, and she resides in Lumberton with her husband and 3 sons. She loves camping, gardening, and boating.
Thank you for the introduction. Now I'd like to give you a bio or background on my sister, Crystal Moore. She obtained her associate's degree in nursing from Fayetteville Technical Community College in 2002, and then a bachelor's degree in nursing from UNC Pembroke in 2006. She completed a master's degree in nursing with certificates to care as a family nurse practitioner, as well as women's health care nurse practitioner from UNC Chapel Hill in 2008. She also earned a Doctor of Nursing Practice from Duke University in 2017. Her areas of special interest are community health, women's health, diabetes, and building youth resiliency. Crystal is the Director of Student Health Service and is also teaching as adjunct faculty within the Department of Nursing at UNC Pembroke. All right, thank you for joining us today. We are so excited to be here and to be sharing this presentation with you. For an icebreaker, we wanted to share a fun fact about each other. I'll go first. Crystal is the detail-oriented designer person of our family. She is the coordinator for all the weddings and parties and adds her special touch and details for all of our special events, and she's the master shopper of the family.
Oh, true. Now it's my turn. I know her bio says that she loves fishing, but not just any type of fishing. I'm talking about spot fishing. She is known as the spot fishing queen in our family, and it is truly a family affair because she will take her family to the pier, and if they're lucky, they'll catch 2 at a time, and you guys know what I'm talking about. So such great memories, but let's talk about what we're here for today, which is resiliency in women, 2 of our most favorite topics. I will share my screen with you, so bear with me one moment. I hope this works. Okay, can you guys see that? So I wanted to share this meme with you. I saw this last month, and when I saw it, I thought about our presentation because it just resonated with me, and I thought it was so relevant. And of course, who doesn't love Star Wars and Yoda? So it says, when you realize it's almost March again, and you still haven't recovered from what happened last March. So as you know, the focus of this year's event is on resiliency. What is resiliency? I borrowed the following quote from an article on the American Psychological Association's website regarding building resilience, and it says, life may not come with a map, but everyone will experience twists and turns, from everyday challenges to traumatic events with more lasting impact, like the death of a loved one, a life-altering accident, or a serious illness. Each change affects people differently, bringing a unique flood of thoughts, strong emotions, and uncertainty. Yet people generally adapt well over time to life-changing situations and stressful situations, in part thanks to resilience. So if you look at our screen here, we created this diagram. I'm a very visual person, so I hope that this makes sense to you. So if you look on the left side of the screen, it shows an image of before COVID, so March 2020. And I want you to think about that. Many of us felt prepared. We had our lives in order. Things were going well. Maybe even things were mundane. Or maybe you really didn't feel that way. And then bam, COVID hit. And the World Health Organization announced on March 11th, 2020, which, by the way, was my birthday, and I always remember that date. But the World Health Organization declared on March 11th a global pandemic. Wow. I don't even think it really resonated with me until April of May of last year, what really was about to happen. Even though we were working the entire time and our families were quarantined at home, we had to adapt. So then look at the diagram on the right-hand side of the screen where it says March of 2021. And then you'll see in the middle there, I have COVID-19. So from March 2020, life before the pandemic was announced, until March 2021, which is now and into the future. And I want you to reflect on that year, 12 months, 365 days, 8,760 hours, 525,600 minutes, 31,536,000 seconds. And like many of you, we have experienced great heartaches, tears, sickness, and deaths. But we've also experienced hope. We've also experienced joy. We've experienced happiness and even some triumphs. So we wanted to share with you some ways that we have experienced ourselves and had the opportunity to witness amongst our family, friends, co-workers, and community. And these experiences have taught us what it means to find strength no matter what is happening in our lives and the world around us. So I think I can speak for most women when I say our worlds have been turned upside down. Little did we know a year ago how much change I would face as a mom, a wife, and a healthcare provider. This last year of practice has felt much like when I first got out of nursing school. There was much uncertainty, check. Many things felt unrehearsed, check. And unpredictable, check. Did I mention unpredictable? I chose this graphic because that's what I felt a lot of this past year. Stop throwing balls to me. I don't want to play anymore. But what stops a ball that has been pitched? What stops a ball in motion? So I want you to reach back into your high school physics class about Newton's first law of motion. And it states that an object either remains at rest or continues to move at a constant velocity unless it is acted upon by an external force. So an object in motion will stay in motion unless it's acted on by an outside force. So in this example of the flying baseball, as the ball encounters air resistance and gravity, it begins to slow down. And if air resistance and gravity were not factors, it could potentially fly forever. So I know you're asking, how is this related to women and resiliency?
So women wear so many hats, right? Life partner, mother, daughter, sister, aunt, friend, chef, housekeeper, the list goes on and on. So notice I didn't even mention a career woman, and the list was already consumed with full-time status. So some of the counseling that we have provided to our patients, over the past years, we've had to use those same counseling techniques maybe 10 times more this year than any other prior year. And that would be, you can't control what happens to us in this life, but we can control how we react to it. In fact, we've had to keep each other accountable by reminding each other that we've got to practice what we preach. No doubt this year has been the most challenging. As the world around us dramatically shifts, we're learning every single day how to keep up, how to keep our lives in order, and how to keep smiling, keep showing up, how to stay healthy. So we want to share some of what we have learned with you about self-care. The coronavirus pandemic has forced a lot of women and their families to stay home, and as a result, boredom has often settled in. Maybe some have even experienced symptoms such as anxiety and feelings of hopelessness or depression. Hobbies are, by definition, any activity done purely for pleasure in your free time. And research shows that hobbies are really good for emotional well-being and mental health. If any of you have had to quarantine, then maybe you've had firsthand experience with this. Some of my patients have expressed to me that they feel extremely lonely being isolated from the world. They would often describe a feeling of detachment. So I find myself offering advice on how to connect, maybe even virtually, or how to keep the mind occupied. Insert hobbies. A psychologist by the name of Dr. Singh from Columbia University stated that any hobby is a good thing to alleviate such feelings of sadness or anxiety. So that's especially key in this world of social distancing. For some during the pandemic, hobbies have been born or even rekindled. Think about what hobbies interest you. Is there any room in your life to enjoy old or maybe even new hobbies? You already know I enjoy spot fishing. Another fun fact about me is that at the beginning of the pandemic, my family and I decided to plant some grapevines, as we like to garden and farm a little bit. We started out with one row of grapevines, and then we got really excited about it and started having fun. Now we have 4 rows of grapevines, and this summer we'll be overflowing with grapes. So it's been a really good stress reliever for me. Crystal, why don't you tell us about some hobbies that interest you and your family?
Okay. One thing for my family has been cooking and baking. That's been one of our stress relievers and outlets. I know for some, cooking can be seen as a chore, but a chore is something that you have to do and you no longer find joy, but you might rather find it exhausting. But finding new recipes has been exciting for us. My husband has searched YouTube for new cooking trends, and our current new cooking fad are all things pork belly. We are now learning to cure bacon, which takes a minimum of 2 weeks, and we are a little more than a week into the process, and our first batch is expected to be ready in just a few days. So now that will also go onto my resume. But I've heard a lot about people looking for hobbies to pick up during quarantine while we're social distancing. And we encourage you to think about what might interest you. And hobbies are a great way to de-stress and find inspiration. So some of the hobbies to explore are reading, gardening, puzzles, adult coloring books, crocheting, painting, listening to music or podcasts, and the list goes on and on. So if you're out of TV shows and movies to binge watch, or you just want to try something different, these are some new hobby ideas to try.
All right, and lastly, I would like to talk about some popular information that is related to the COVID pandemic, and that is the new COVID-19 vaccine. I have been fortunate to work in a COVID vaccine clinic since it was first made available in our county, and I'd like to share with you some helpful tips or information on getting your vaccine. Vaccine providers are currently following North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services guidelines that group eligible North Carolinians according to age, occupation, and medical conditions. Due to vaccine demand outweighing supply, you may have to wait to get your shot, but rest assured, everyone will eventually get one. There are even tribal and university providers receiving the vaccine, and several are going out into the community and even hosting drive-through events to make the vaccine more accessible. These events are usually posted on social media and the newspaper. If you are having trouble locating a vaccine provider, you can call the COVID-19 Vaccine Help Center, which is located on our screen. That phone number is 1-888-675-4567. And then the website that's located on your screen, findmygroup.nc.gov, will also help you determine which group eligibility you would fall in. And finally, the COVID-19 vaccine will be available to everyone for free, whether or not you have health insurance. So I strongly encourage you to speak with your healthcare provider about any personal healthcare concerns or allergies that you have prior to receiving the vaccine, so that you can feel comfortable once it is your turn to receive the vaccine.
Absolutely. And you can't get away without talking to two nurse practitioners without talking about COVID-19 and the vaccines. And we also wanted to address some facts and misinformation about COVID. There's a lot of misinformation going around, and we wanted you to be able to make the best decision for you and your family, because we think it's important to share with you the facts about COVID. So this is straight from the CDC's website, and we're just going to go through these quickly. So the first one is, and we've heard all of these between Ariel and I, we've heard all of these. So these are real life examples that we've heard right here from some of our family, our friends, and in our community. So, can a COVID-19 vaccine make me sick with COVID-19? And the answer is no. None of the COVID vaccines that are currently available are live viruses. So that means that they cannot give you the virus itself. The way that the vaccines work, it takes a few weeks for your body to build up an immunity, which is a protection against COVID-19. So that means that a person can get sick before they receive their vaccine, or in between that time that their body is building up that immunity. And that's because the body hasn't had enough time to build up that protection, which takes about 2 weeks after you've completed the series, because it is 2 shots. So bottom line is the COVID-19 vaccine does not give you the coronavirus.
All right, the next frequently asked question is, after getting a COVID-19 vaccine, will I test positive for COVID-19 on a viral test? The answer is no. The COVID-19 vaccine does not cause a current infection. The tests for COVID-19 look for current infections, whereas the vaccine would cause you to have antibodies. And so those would only come up positive on an antibody test. So that would show up positive for a previous infection, or if you have antibodies from a vaccine. So no, COVID-19 vaccines do not cause you to have a positive COVID-19 test.
Another question is, if I have already had COVID-19 and recovered, do I still need to get vaccinated with the COVID-19 vaccine? And the answer to that is yes. We do know that COVID-19 does cause severe illness for some. So whether once you've had the coronavirus infection, you are considered to have natural immunity for 90 days. So they have talked about you can delay that for up to 90 days. But really, once it's your time to get the shot, there's no reason, unless you have a current infection, that you cannot get the COVID-19 vaccine. So we do encourage you, once your time becomes available, to take your spot and get your shot.
All right, the next question is, will a COVID-19 vaccine protect me from getting sick with COVID-19? Yes, the COVID-19 vaccine teaches your immune system how to recognize and fight the virus that causes COVID-19 and will protect you from getting sick with COVID-19. So does this mean that you will never get COVID-19 infection? No. But if you are exposed to COVID-19 and you would have the antibodies provided by the vaccine to fight that infection that would prevent you from getting severely sick with COVID-19 symptoms.
Very good. And will COVID-19 vaccine alter my DNA? And the answer is no. The way these vaccines are created, they are called messenger RNA vaccines, and the messenger RNA from COVID-19 vaccine does not go into the nucleus of the cell, which is where DNA is in your cell wall, so in the body. So that means that there's no way it can interfere or change or alter our DNA. So it does not in any way alter your DNA.
All right, and our last question is it safe for a person who is thinking about having a baby to get the COVID-19 vaccine? At this time, the answer is yes. People who want to get pregnant in the future may receive the COVID-19 vaccine according to the current knowledge of experts at the Centers of Disease. They say that the COVID-19 vaccine has been shown to form antibodies that are safe in pregnancy, that they do not cause any problems in the placenta. And so if anyone was to have any concerns about this, they could certainly talk with their OBGYN, but there's no evidence at this time to show that there is any interaction with anyone who is thinking about conceiving or currently pregnant.
So thank you for joining us. As women, you are used to taking care of your household, your career, and so many others that we talked about. Now, you must apply the basics of self-care to yourself too. Oftentimes we tell our women that if you're sick, oftentimes the household falls apart. So it's important that you stay healthy. So the charge is to take the opportunity to stop and recharge. And we hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.